company to develop, knowing that we're going to open up probably another 40 hotels in the next 5 years. So we'll actually go from 65 to 100 hotels. And that's a huge, huge stress on our human resources. Again, most of those hotels will be in China because that's where our growth is and where our key sort of skill set is as far as building hotels. To build a hotel, just to give you an idea, in China, it's about 1/3 the cost of building a hotel in North America or Europe. So that's why we've really chosen to expand there. And I don't know how many billions, there's billions of people over there. And there's a lot of business, and right now that's where the money is, so that's where we're expanding. Very strategic. But part of that is the human resource. So we have to be very strategic on how we're actually focusing in on the human resource element. Part of that is retention. And again, part of our core values and our guiding principles is to develop people within our organization to be able to meet their career goals. And that's why we put together all these training programs to be ready for that onslaught, because we just don't have enough people. Very, very tough. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely the churn ratio is an important one to consider, because you don't want to recycling in and out of your place.
Yeah, the cost of that's enormous.
It is. It's huge. I was thinking more in the sense of, China is becoming a key player in the whole world economy.
Yes, it is.
Any more development here in Canada?
Well, we got our hotel coming up in May of 2012 in Toronto. That'll probably be our only other hotel there. I think probably looking south again, there's a lot of distressed assets out there for sale, and people have liked to us to manage those, but in most cases it's not the resources that it would take to do that for a very small amount of management fees, rather than being an owner-operator, is not worth it for us. So that's why we've kind of chosen. We're still looking at key gateway cities. We'd love to have a hotel in Chicago. We'd love to have a hotel in San Francisco, for example, or probably New York. New York is a key place for us. So probably San Francisco, Chicago, New York are places that we'd be more interested in. I'm kind of hoping we get a place in Hawaii, because this is the first place I've actually lived in 30 years where it snows. And they told me it didn't snow very much, but it does rain a lot. It is kind of cold, and yeah, I've lost my tan, so it's kind of tough, it was a hard winter for me, actually. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Yes, sir, you have a song first.
Just thinking of the market in Canada and the U.S., there's lots of choice for consumers, and there's lots of competition. I'm just wondering what you do differently when you actually come into a new country with a brand new product. How do you market that?
Yeah, you've been talking to my owner, I think. Yeah, my owner's very tough on me, because we don't have in Asia, everybody knows Shangri-La. In North America, not so much unless you're a business traveler that has gone to Asia, and you probably know our brand. We've done as much as we can to get our brand out there. Obviously, it's a very expensive exercise. We have a regional sales office in New York. We have a regional sales office in Los Angeles. And those two regional sales offices support us here in Canada as far as going out and getting business. We're actually launching our new brand campaign. One of the things that we're doing, some of the things I showed you was actually part of our brand manifesto. We just redid some of those materials and made them a little bit more modern, and we relaunched that this week to our employees in our hotel. And throughout our whole company, it was actually launched out for the last 2 months. The brand campaign, we have a whole new brand campaign that's being launched, and a lot of that brand campaign will be focused on North America and getting our brand over here in the lead up for opening up in Toronto in May of 2012. So again, it's tough for us because we don't have a lot of resources as compared to a lot of the international hotel chains which are based in the United States or Canada. So, yeah. Well, if you talk to my director of food and beverage, Brian actually knows my director of food and beverage, Joseph, who was a graduate of Capilano University. Very, very bright young guy. Actually had his own catering company, and he was Entrepreneur of the Year at one point before he actually joined the hotel. He was one of our North American Tigers. He spent 2 years in Beijing before we opened the hotel. Very, very bright, dynamic young guy. He probably wishes that I wasn't his general manager sometimes, because I probably know too much. But he's an example of someone who I give him a lot of liberty. I give him a lot of tough love sometimes too, because food and beverage guys can usually take it a little bit more. But it's just, yeah, it's tough for me to let go sometimes, because you see things and you just, what can you say? honestly, breakfast is, breakfast is one of the toughest shifts. There's a lot of key things that we concentrate on the first and last 15 minutes of the guest experience when they're checking in and when they're checking out. We concentrate a lot on the working order of our rooms to make sure the rooms are clean and they work. We concentrate a lot of our efforts on breakfast because as a business traveler, those are the three things that are the most important thing for business travelers. Studies show us that. So we actually have programs rolled out in our company, and we call our breakfast improvement team, we call it BITES. It's the breakfast improvement team. And they don't let me go to the meetings anymore, actually. They told me that they said, boss, can you just kind of just stay away from the meeting? It's a tough shift, because people in the morning, they're kind of grumpy, and I'm really grumpy before I get my first cup of coffee in the morning. And most people are, And if you've got to wait for breakfast, you've got to wait for your check, your coffee's not hot, it doesn't taste good. It's a tough way to start the day. Tough way to start the day. Yes, sir.
I want to build on Trevor's point before. I have two-part question. The first one is...
I hate those. Okay, because you got to remember the second one while you're thinking about the first one.
Listen up.
Okay.
I forgot the question.
Tough crowd.
It's a hard question. First of all, who do you see as your competition? What level? Who do you see? And the second piece of that is, and how? Again, I don't really think you answered the question in terms of how you differentiate yourself
As a brand?
as a brand to world travelers.
Right. Well, the way we differentiate our brand is some of the things that I showed you up there before in our manifesto. It's all about a heartwarming family. I don't know that I've ever been to a Hyatt hotel, for example. And I worked for Hyatt for 17 years, and I felt like I was part of a heartwarming family as far as a guest. Okay? But if you come to our hotel, go on to TripAdvisor.com, look up Vancouver. We're the #1 rated hotel on TripAdvisor. And read the comments. In the comments, most of the comments that you'll read about our hotel, it's nothing to do, it's a beautiful building. We're pretty new, and it's a great build, great rooms, and people will tell you that on TripAdvisor. But they'll also tell you about the emotional connection that they had with our employees. And that's the differentiation of our brand. And that's what we're trying to bring from Asia to North America.
Okay,
And we've been pretty successful with that.
So you think you're unique in that way?
I think that I think there's a lot of other hotels that try to do the same thing, but I think we do it better than anybody.
How are you enjoying the Fairmont down there?
The Fairmont Empress.
Yeah.
I just checked in this morning. I got a lovely room, and Eric, the guy who checked me in, was a very nice guy. And, I felt like I was welcome. And, yeah, that was my only interaction with Eric at the front desk. And then my wife went off, and then Margaret dragged me out and got me in that little fast Honda. So, what was the second part of your
Well,
question?
basically, who you see as your competition. It sounds to me that it's a Fairmont or above.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of... And Vancouver's a very unusual environment because the Four Seasons is a very large hotel.
Yeah.
The Fairmont is a Pacific Rim, the new Pacific Rim at the Fairmont there. That's actually the same owners as my hotel.
Okay, so that'll be a similar...
Well, that's a convention hotel, and I'm a 119-room boutique hotel. So my competition really, as far as my competitive set, we really look at probably hotels like the Opus, the Wedgwood, the Metropolitan, the Loden, for example. We have a couple of large hotels in our competitive set, but the reason that we do that more than anything else, it just makes my numbers look better, because we have this big hotels in there run like sort of a low RevPAR compared to our hotel.
The general manager of the Loden is